Today on Rise Up, we begin with ommunity posts shared on the Risers' official YouTube channel. First, Brother Ardijan addresses a question many have asked. Will the Mahdi appear at the Kaaba? His response brings clarity rooted in both narration and reason. Next, Sister Khadija shares a moving reflection on the kingdom of God, not as a distant promise, but as a living reality with the riser, who is himself a walking miracle. Then, Brother James delivers a timely message titled, A Call to Truth in the Age of Confusion, challenging us to anchor ourselves in divine clarity. And finally, we wrap up by looking at your thoughts in the comments section, your questions, your insights, and your witness to what's unfolding. This is Rise Up.
Good morning, welcome to Rise Up. I'm Alia Halal.
I'm Kevin Omar Al-Mahdi.
And as we had mentioned before, Kevin, a couple of days ago actually, we had said that there are so many brothers and sisters around the world who have contributed to making some noise about the birthday of Abba Sadiq,
yes,
or doing some missionary work, or honoring him and honoring his name by doing something beautiful to put a smile on his face. We had prophesied a few days ago that we will be mentioning it for quite a few days, because
yes,
there's a lot of content.
It's a lot of, yes, right? A lot of people going out and doing things, yes.
Yeah, and they still are. There's this hype and there's this excitement. So we have to make sure that we give them that airtime, because it is such beautiful work that they have done, and we want to make sure that you guys, you brothers and sisters out there, and families, and all the Ansar around the world who have been so excited and happy on this celebration, we're going to make sure that the world also gets to hear about what you've done. So that's something to look forward to for today, as well as other topics of various aspects of religion.
Yes. Yes, one of the things I want to say about the missionary work that the people did, because, I mean, it was, to me, it was an amazing idea how people decided to just go out and do something good for mankind in the as a celebration of the birthday of Abba Sadiq alayhi salam. So I was in the Spanish show Justicia Divina. We were talking to two of the sisters who actually went out and gave food to the people, and they were saying that basically they came back home extremely happy for what happened that day. Sad also that they didn't have more to give, but definitely they felt, okay, now I have to do this again, you know.
Yeah.
And we were thinking and reflecting together how Abba Sadiq said, and this is something that they themselves said, God has put the happiness of your happiness in the happiness of other people.
That's so beautiful,
right?
Yeah.
And because they experience this act of making other people happy, they realize how actually making other people happy is that's the thing that makes you happy.
That's the secret.
Yes, right? and that's the thing that now I see in them this fire to basically keep doing it, just and the understanding now of just doing it for the sake of doing it, because in doing it, that's the reward that you get, the fact that you did it.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a practical kind of application of how to create happiness, and it's not, as you said, Kevin, it's not something you go and seek, because it happens organically when you just are concerned for other people.
Exactly.
And you do something about it. And for sure, I can imagine that a lot of people who did these great works on that blessed day, as you said, they're wanting to go ahead and do it again, because it's a feeling that is like no other. You want to get that again, of that feeling of satisfaction when you see joy in someone's face, or you see that they're relieved from some pain. You were able to alleviate the pain or the suffering of another human being. And that is how Abba Sadiq has lived his life, and now there are people across the globe emulating him and walking in his footsteps, and we're all trying to be a little bit, a fraction of what he has been for us. So it's a beautiful day and a lot of things to go over. I guess we should jump into it and see. Let's go ahead and see what the community posts are today. We're starting right in Spain, Kevin.
Yes. So the people in Spain, they got together again. and they, you know, they already have this this tradition, right, of going together to different places.
Yes.
Yeah. So they did it. They are announcing it. We have a lot of posters in Spanish now that we have made, and people can download and just go and paste them. And this is what they're doing. They are coming up every day, I think, with new designs
Very cool.
to give to the
That's
people.
a new one. I don't think I've seen that one before.
Yeah, I mean,
Nuevo Papa in a different design.
yes.
So missed out.
So yeah, I mean, I think the brothers, when they came back from this specific action, I remember they were all saying that, yeah, this was amazing, and this is the first time these two brothers got
Who
together.
are these brothers?
They are brother Zacaria from Andorra and brother Jose from Colombia, but
They
he's
got
living in
together
Spain.
in Spain?
Yes.
Oh, very
He's
nice.
living, brother from, they go together in Spain, exactly, and they basically, these are the two brothers, and they, basically, this was like the kickstart of for both of them of getting together with the Ansar and doing things together. After that, there's more things that they did. This is in Argentina. This is our sister Nora.
Sister Nora. Yeah, she's all. Every time I see Argentina, she's somewhere there.
Yes, because she's well, she and her daughter, they are the only two believers who are native from Argentina.
Ah.
Yeah. So this is why. So they are like kickstarting the work in Argentina.
The trailblazers for Argentina.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
God bless her. Look at her. Imagine that. Imagine you reach that age in your life and you say to yourself, I found the path, and you just throw yourself into the work.
Exactly,
like that.
exactly.
So
and she's always saying, "Look, I want to do more. I want to feel like I'm being useful for our Sadek." So yeah, I mean, it's very admirable what she has done.
It's such a living, breathing religion, isn't
Yes.
it? People are they're not just knowing about it passively. It's something that it becomes your life.
It transforms you
transforms
totally. Yes, yeah. It becomes a thing where you. You just cannot just stand in your house, in your bedroom, knowing about this and not doing anything. People who really believe in this dawah, they throw themselves full force.
You can't help
it.
Thailand.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, this is Thailand. Yeah.
We've hopped to another.
So this is a very, like, you know, this is a very usual scene in general, right? They put a flyer in your exactly. So they are using the same language that people are already used to. Yeah.
Look at that.
So I wonder what like, because I love also how sometimes they put posters and in specific places, like for example.
Look at that. That's prayer mats in a masjid.
Exactly.
Someone's gonna go pray and they'll first pick that up and be like, what is that?
Yeah. I've seen some, for example, people putting there's like a sign that says, "What is the solution to your problems?" And they place the Azadek in there. So it's very strategic how they're doing. I really like how creative people are being with this mission of spreading the dawah. Croatia. Yeah, I think this brother from Croatia goes every day, right? I think he.
Yeah, I think it's Brother Boyan.
Yes. He's going out every single day.
He is so hardworking.
Yes. So alhamdulillah. So again, the windshields, and the number plates of the cars.
Because you have to check it out now. It's on your windshield.
Exactly, exactly. You cannot ignore it.
You can't just walk away.
Even if you want to take it out. Yeah.
There he is.
So here, yeah. Alhamdulillah.
No, you can tell this individual really loves his religion and really loves his Imam.
Definitely.
And loves talking about it with people and going out there and doing something.
Yes. Manchester, UK.
It's very close to home.
Yes. So okay. So there is this is like a. I see inside. You can see inside, right? This exactly. So I guess they were putting it in the mail, box of the people.
Actually, that's really cool. Imagine you would check that, wouldn't you?
Yes, definitely. I think like the first time I saw this, I remember I said, okay, this is something that is actually literally like knocking in the doors. You know, that the Mahdi will come and knock on your doors.
So there's a hadith, right? A narration.
Yes.
Tell us what that narration is.
Yeah, so it says, the companion of Egypt is the sign of signs, and his sign is wondrous, and it has signs. His head is Hassan, no, his heart is Hassan, and his head is Muhammad, and he changes the name of his grandfather. If he appears, know that the Mahdi will come knocking on your doors. So before he knocks, fly to him in the clouds, or go to him even if you have to crawl over ice. Yeah.
Fly to him in the clouds. You know, these hadiths or these narrations, traditions that you read in the books that have been, they're basically compilations of narrations and traditions that have been made or said from different imams from the lineage of Prophet Muhammad. So you have, of course, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family, and then you have from his bloodline these 12 imams who are mentioned in his Holy Will and Testament. And these 12 imams are divinely appointed vicegerents who would prophesy what would happen later. And there are so many different prophecies about the Mahdi, about the riser of a Sadiq, about what would happen when he comes. And when you read them, you really have to put yourself in the shoes of the people back then. You know?
Yes.
Because I can't imagine being standing with Imam Jafar Sadiq or Imam Hassan al-Askari or one of them, and they tell you, fly to them in the clouds, you know, or the people will fly to them in droves in the clouds, and you just think, how would it have sounded back then, you know? And today we know how you fly in clouds. Now we get it, but I think it's exactly as puzzling as the saying that goes, the iron will fly in the sky, right? Iron will fly in the sky.
And it's the same thing, actually.
How would iron fly in the sky? Well, it does now.
Yeah.
You know, or iron will be running on iron. So now we know that's probably trains, isn't it? Because that's what trains are. They're iron that are walking on iron.
Exactly. So it's both the same thing, right? And now people have like the capacity to fly in the clouds to reach the Mahdi.
Exactly.
So alhamdulillah, it's a very big thing, and again, like this idea that the Ansar are going door by door by door by door by door, like if they keep doing it, there will not be a house on the face of the earth that doesn't know about the news of the Mahdi. And one of the things that I was talking about with the believers when they went out and gave this, there is a group of believers in Canada who went to a refugee camp, one of these places where people are living in tents. Okay, and they gave there were people who actually were interested in the religion, and they were saying, please, like, do it again, this is amazing. So, but I was thinking, a lot of these people never heard about like, because of what they're going through in life, they haven't had the opportunity to know about Abba Sadiq, except that now somebody came and gave them a gift, and this is like a very good first impression of the dawah, right? And now, like, just because of the fact that it has a QR code, and maybe these people will in their phones, you know, scan and watch a video of Abba Sadiq, like, that would trigger the algorithm to show them more and more and more and more. Exactly. So these, like, you shouldn't underestimate the weight of what you're doing, because just one action, one scanning, one QR code will trigger a whole chain reaction of people, of the news of Abba Sadiq reaching and filling the earth. So congratulations to everyone who is doing it, and don't hesitate to come up with more and more and more creative and nice, polite ways to present it to the people. And again, like, they went to poor people, they went to people who had never, like, there's some people who don't even have the time to sit down and think about spirituality because of their life conditions, right? So the message of Abba Sadiq is so direct and so clear and so down to earth that now, like, they didn't have any opportunity to think about these things. So the first contact that they will have with spirituality and all this is going to be the right way, right? The true way, the true, you know?
It's the actual accurate version of truth that God intends for mankind. So, it makes sense, right? They wouldn't have that. They wouldn't have the capacity So to bring
Yeah.
something of relief to them so that they understand that this is the language of Abu Sadiq. It is relief, it is
Yes.
peace, it is
Yes.
love and harmony. I think it's really brilliant that the Ansar went on and did that. It really is.
Definitely.
And I think also this is the real battle. You know, people they underestimate the true weapons of God, and God, He is such a good God that He fights using love. You know, He fights
Definitely.
using peace. He fights using harmony and unity, and He fights for it. And Abu Sadiq, who is the walking incarnation of God's Spirit, is doing exactly that. People misunderstand so much, Kevin, what it is that the Mahdi is here for, and people out there who know the term Mahdi but don't understand it. A lot of them, and I'm sure you can comment on this, especially in the Christian world, they would see the term Mahdi as something very negative, something that is opposing Jesus Christ and opposing the values of Jesus Christ. And essentially, a lot of them even say he's the Antichrist. They would say that he is opposing peace and love and the values of Jesus, when the fact of the matter is that the weapons of the Mahdi are love and knowledge and getting together and uniting against forces that seek to divide over and over again in every way possible.
Yes.
And imagine the power in that, right? We see that because if you don't walk out and see people as a reflection of yourself, and you don't see them as people that need to be a part of your life, then we will always be divided and we'll always be miserable.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I mean, it's this is a revolution that is like a peaceful revolution, but it's a revolution that needs to encompass the whole earth.
Yeah.
All the people need to know about this, because there is a way out. God is offering the people a different way of life for them to not have to be, feeling enslaved every day just to feed their families. A world in which they can have every single thing that they need to have a dignified life as a human right, as a given, as something that they like. People shouldn't be having to they should take this for granted, that they will have a plate of food in their table, and they will have a house to go to, and they will have this.
That's
should
not a privilege. It's
no,
supposed to be something we have anyway.
this is not
world.
Something that you should strive and fight for. This
Shouldn't have to anyway.
No, because there's enough for all human beings to have everything that they need. There is enough in the planet. There is enough.
More than enough. Abu Sadiq
More
says
than
there
enough.
is so much on the planet that no one should be going hungry right now.
Like this is preposterous to think that, and like everybody, there's enough for everybody to live a life that we see rich people having, right? There is enough in the planet for that. So how is it that we prefer having just 10 people living that life in the planet, and the rest of the world have to scramble to get the crumbs?
No,
right?
It's in every way, really. It's not even just like literally in terms of food, but all sustenance that human beings need.
Yes.
Even something like having an emotional connection to another human being has become a privilege and has become a difficult thing to fight for. It's really sad that that's the way society is structured now. But the good news is we're seeing that there is an alternative that exists that opposes that idea that it's difficult, it's impossible, and you have to struggle to survive in the world. We're creating an alternative, Kevin, aren't we? Where that's not the case.
Definitely. And the community of Abu Sadiq is the prime example of that. And people are going to start seeing more and more and more and more of it, so that they can understand. You know, Alia, I before joining the Dawah, I was thinking, right now on planet Earth, there is enough technology for anyone who has a good idea to just record himself on a video showing, look, for example, I made this machine that helps, like, I don't know, pump water without the necessity of electricity, whatever it is. People come up with such crazy and amazing ways of innovating and making life better. And all it takes is just to take out your phone right now, take out your phone, upload it to any social media, and it just takes the right mindset for these things to be the things that become viral and that get replicated all over the world. And soon people, like, we can live in a global, we can make paradise on earth because of how easily ideas can spread. So the issue is there is people who are protecting and encouraging the people who have the worst ideas to be the ones who spread the most.
That's so true.
Right?
That's so true.
There's a lot of money being thrown in spreading the worst vices and the worst
news.
Yes.
The most irrelevant, ridiculous news becomes the top headline.
And there's money invested on it. There's money, like people are investing on spreading this.
It's such a shame. It really
and it is unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
There's a whole propaganda out there of distracting people and distracting the masses from reading what's wrong.
Just keeping them ignorant, not knowing what's happening in the world. Yeah. So not knowing how to find ways to make the world a better place. So I think once people, as Abba Sadek said in the latest video, start seeing more and more behind the scenes footage of what's going on in the Dawah, in the community of Abba Sadek, once we open our doors more and more and let people see and experience what it is to walk with God on earth, and how much these promises that God makes in the Bible and in the Quran and in the holy books of, if you support me, I will support you, and I will bless you, and I will make you a great nation. It is not just empty words from God. The issue is, because there is no nation on the face of the planet right now that is upholding the covenant of God, you are not seeing any example on a mass scale of how God can actually bless a nation. You haven't seen how it is when God actually supports a people, because you are not under a covenant with God. But the more and more you start seeing examples of how the people who have taken the covenant of God upon themselves and are doing their best to fulfill it
together as a nation.
Yes. You will see how much it is clear and evident when God is blessing and supporting a people. And that's what you're going to see when you start seeing more and more of our community, and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna want to be part of it.
It's something that's so expensive and valuable, right? Because God is such a great God, such a great Father, that if you read the Bible carefully and you see the way that Jesus was walking, He was not giving people ideas and just hoping for the best. He was telling them, look, this is it. Come and follow me and don't worry about the rest. That's what Jesus Christ was basically saying. To the extent that there were people who had jobs, or people who had a father to bury, or something big like that, and he would say, look, it doesn't matter. What matters is this, the kingdom. The kingdom matters. Because that is the answer to alleviating the suffering of other human beings. And that's the point. That's the point of God's vicegerent being a shepherd, right? What does a shepherd do? He takes care of the sheep. And if you don't create the environment for the sheep to be taken care of, then what happens? The wolves come and it's over.
Yeah.
And that's what God's vicegerents have always fought for, the protection of their people. And Abba Sadek has created such a beautiful alternative to the darkness out there, and the oppression out there, and the tyranny out there.
Yeah.
On every level.
Yeah.
He has created such a great alternative that I'm not surprised at all, Kevin, when I see the amount of passion. And we were talking right before the show started, we were talking about the posts and the videos that are upcoming, and how passionate the people are in the way they sing for him, and the things they write for him, and the work they do for him. There's so much love, and the love is there because he has impacted people in a way that they cannot forget.
Yeah.
They cannot let go of what he's done for them. He has changed lives on a global level. This is something else. This really is something else.
No, it's I don't know.
There are no words, huh?
You will understand when you see our community. You will understand that there is no amount of money that you can ever pay to get what God is offering the people, because
for very little.
Yes. Just think about, for example, how much would it cost for, I don't know how is it in the places that you've grown, but in Mexico, society has come to a point where children can no longer go alone outside and play.
For sure, absolutely.
At all.
Absolutely.
Like it's like there
are children who do, and then terrible things happen.
Yes.
You hear about it all the time.
Yes. So how many millions would it take to fix this issue
That's
in society?
That's the problem. It's on,
right?
and it's on many levels. A
Yes.
very multi-layered
Yes.
issue that you have
Yes.
to.
It
You
is
have
not-
to solve corruption in society. You have to
Yes,
solve
exactly.
the lack of the resources people have in general that leads them to this kind of corrupted situation where they begin to injure and harm other innocent human beings, and then you have to understand why it's happening. I mean, this is a big problem.
We have solved this problem in this community to such a level that if your child goes out to play and forgets his toy in the playground, he's gonna get it the next day.
Yeah,
somebody's going to
that's
take
true.
it and
Nothing
give it
gets
back.
lost here. Have you noticed that you cannot lose anything in this community because there are so many people you know who know you, that know what you own and can help you find the thing. I mean, that might sound like a really small thing,
This is like it is a small thing,
but it's a beautiful
that
thing.
it would take an incredible effort in society
Yes.
to solve.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So God has the solution for that. How much could you pay to be able to for example, leave your phone unattended one day outside and have it back because nobody wants to steal it?
And know that no one would steal it.
Know that no one
And
will.
you're surrounded by people that you know, that
Because-
you trust, and your children trust and know, because everyone is actually in an environment of security and safety.
And everybody's needs are taken care of.
It's like, you reminded me actually of the interview with Professor Holly Folk, and the way she was so amazed by that. She could not stop speaking about it. I mean, in the interview itself, she was very eloquent and she was describing it. But in her entire visit here, she was constantly, commenting on this. Every time she would observe, children playing or happy or families getting together to eat, she would be just watching and observing and saying to us over and over, wow, these children are very happy, and you families are very happy, and everyone is very safe, and and you can tell that this is a professor who has done her research. She has seen the good and the bad.
She has seen many communities.
Yeah, and she's seen some good, but she hadn't ever seen anything like this before, and that was what she said. This is not something that we are saying from ourselves. She said that from her own volition. So we're very happy that we have that evidence to back up what we're saying, because of course we're on this side of the fence. But yeah, it is a beautiful thing. And speaking of the passion that people have for Abu Sadiq, the coming up segment it's a compilation of people's work that they did for Abu Sadiq on his birthday, and also the way they wanted to express their love for him. So I think we should go ahead and see that, and we'll be right back.
عيد ميلاد سعيد أملي وحنو العالمي اسعدوا يا بني آدم. عبد الله ظهر أخيرا، أهلا بك يا قائم. يوم ميلادك يشع بغد رغيد، حمدا لك أنك لنا بيننا يا أبا العالم. Happy birthday to you, my Imam Abdullah. Happy birthday to you, you're the light of Allah. Thank you for being here for us, to guide us all towards the path of Allah. في يوم عيدك يا صاحب مصر نور العالم، اللي هلل عبد الله سلمنا للقادم.
God bless the LGBTQ community, God bless the Jews, God bless the Christians, God bless the Muslims, and God bless the atheists, God bless everybody.
Tú naciste y el cielo se encendió. Las estrellas empezaron a brillar, la luna tembló de emoción y el universo ante nombra brillar. El viento susurra tu nombre sagrado, la tierra perfuma tu huella sin paso. Oh amado hijo de Ahmed en la brisa, tu recuerdo es nuestra única sonrisa. Luz eterna, guía de fe, cada amanecer habla de ti. Hoy cantamos que naciste. Feliz cumpleaños, amor eterno. Mis soles no bastan para tu luz. Eres promesa, eres el cielo tierno. Eres justicia, pureza, eres fuerza y luz. Y desde el alma elevamos el canto. Nuestros corazones laten por ti. Eres el sueño más alto, la razón de seguir. Tú naciste y brotaron los jardines, las montañas cantaron al compás. Los mares calmaron sus confines y la tierra susurró, ya está. Más fuerte que el odio y las guerras, contigo la vida florece entera. Sin ti el alma se queda en espera. En cada rincón del alma te anhelamos con calma. Nuestros corazones te nombran, nuestras oraciones te invocan. Que tu paz vuelva al fin. You are the promise that never fades, the hidden light behind those shades. A heartbeat whispered through the skies, a sacred love that never dies. We sing your name through every tear. With every breath we draw you near. You are the dawn we long to see, the soul of truth eternally. Feliz cumpleaños, luz infinita. Mi voces te nombran en oración. Con tu nombre el alma levita. Con tu amor despierta la creación. Nuestros corazones laten por tu llegada. Nuestras voces se alzan por ti. Eres la promesa esperada, la esperanza sin fin. Tu nacimiento. Tú naciste, ya estás aquí, no importa el tiempo. Tu presencia nos da aliento.
Happy birthday, I love you,
Una invocación. Te amamos aunque lejos estés. Te seguimos con fe y con la fe. Oh imán, luz viva y presente. Nuestra guía, nuestro camino ferviente. Hoy celebramos la vida con flores, incienso y alegría. Todo en nosotros se
Desde Chile
inclina.
les mando un fuerte abrazo con todo mi amor, con todo mi corazón. Hoy para nosotros es un día muy especial. Padre Avanzadi, desde La Paz está de cumpleaños y desde Chile le mando un abrazo y un feliz cumpleaños para él. Que lo pase muy bien, que la paz y la bendición de Dios sean para Padre Avanzadi y toda su familia. Besos. Que Dios nos bendiga a toda la comunidad Ahmadí de La Paz y la Luz.
سيدي ومولاي أبا الصادق، عيد ميلاد سعيد وكل عام وأنت بألف خير، وكل عام والعالم مضيء بنورك وسعيد ومبارك بوجودك. كيف لا وأنت الخلاص للعالم كله. أتمنى من الله النصر الكبير لهذه الدعوة العظيمة وأن يوفقنا لأن نلتقي بك قريبا.
Tu nombre sagrado, la tierra perfuma tu gloria sin paso. Oh amado hijo de Ahmed en la brisa, tu recuerdo es nuestra única sonrisa.
Luz eterna guía de fe, la habla de ti. Hoy cantamos que naciste. Feliz cumpleaños, amor eterno. Mi sol está basta para tuyo. Eres promesa, eres el cielo tierno. Eres justicia, pureza, eres fuerza y luz. Desde el alma elevamos el canto. Nuestros corazones laten por ti. Eres el sueño.
لبيك يا أبا صادق لبيك يا أبا صادق لبيك يا أبا صادق. Dale, snimasz ten control.
Denle un poquito de comida a la gente.
Muchas gracias. Honra al Padre, dice. ¿Ya?
Así es.
سيدي ومولاي أبا الصادق منك السلام والنور والرحمة لبيك أبا الصادق لبيك قائد آل محمد البيعة لله.
Yeah, that's so
incredible.
So beautiful to see that. Look at the joy on people's faces. It's genuine, authentic, you know, absolute joy, and it's because of how much they love Abu Sadiq, and why wouldn't they? The way he has impacted our lives, he's freed people from the shackles they were in.
Yeah,
you know, so much. I mean, there's so much you could say about what he's done for people.
There's like you cannot count. You cannot count because as you said, it just transforms your whole life. Like
I remember how I was personally. Like if I talk on my own behalf, I remember what I was living and how my perspective on life was and reality was before the call, before knowing about Abu Sadiq, about Imam Ahmad al-Hassan, and the way it transformed through time, and you learn that God is so humane, so just, so merciful, and everything that you've been told by others about him is such an unfair reality.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so oppressive on God and so offensive to him.
Yeah.
Ideas even as simple, and I'll give one example of many, ideas such as the fact that you see in these mainstream Islamic societies the idea that there is gender inequality. And not gender inequality in a subtle, insidious way that you might find in other societies, but more in the way that it's on your face. It's very blatant. You're not good enough, you're inferior, don't talk, cover yourself and hide, and we don't want to talk to you. And you're not supposed to be here. You don't belong in a public space. These kinds of ideas are actually very toxic. And imagine growing up in them and hoping that you could reach a potential, but you don't know how because there's no support.
Yeah, and there's no way in society to achieve that.
Exactly.
It reminds me of all these stories of women who, in order for them to just advance in life, they had to either, either join a nunnery, right? Or like dress off as men, so they could,
or give up on religion, or give up on God, which is not an option if you love God and you want Him, and So what do you do then?
Yeah.
And God provided the answer through Abu Sadiq. He allowed those who were truly looking for Him to walk through a door and find on the other side a vicegerent who says, "Hey, everything you heard before, just forget about it because that is not what God meant. That's not what He wanted for you."
Yeah. No, I mean, one of the things that, for example, I as a growing up in a Catholic society and raised by, educated by nuns, and one of the things that, for example, you kind of they get ingrained in you is that for you to be religious, you have to like really give up on happiness.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so true. Well, such a weird part of religion, isn't it?
It is.
The more religious you get, the more sad and dull and miserable you must become, and disconnected and lonely.
Yes.
And the lonelier you are, the more pious you are.
Yes.
It's a very odd
it's weird
kind of conditioning.
Yeah. And I mean, you come to realize that everything is just a fake version of what God meant. For example, withdrawing yourself from society, like how these people like literally go and live on their own on the top
Mountains
of a hill
and
things like this, when in reality I think one of the things that really struck with me the most at the beginning of the previous satellite channel that we had It's a documentary about Confucius, where Confucius says it is not wise for a man to withdraw himself totally from society, because of this conditioning of how you perceive things to be in religion, in how I perceive religion back in the day. I used to be very like, in my mind, I wanted to do something like that. Like
withdraw, like be on your own?
Now I realize that withdrawing yourself from society is what we're doing right now. But it is not because you don't want to have anything to do with the external world. It's because you're withdrawing yourself from society, you create an alternative society, and now you influence society positively because of the strength of...
Because you are accountable, and you're responsible over other people and their lives as well. And it's actually quite easy to walk away from everyone and say, that's not my business and not my problem. But actually, maybe it is. Maybe God is going to say, you had a neighbor, you know, that you didn't check on. You had a family member that no one ever called. You know, that you had parents, you had children. Why weren't you around? Why didn't you talk to your friends? Why were you by yourself? You were looking for me alone, but I was within the people, and you didn't find me there.
Exactly.
That's the key message of being in a community that Abu Sadiq always stresses on, which is connect, be part of each other's lives. And we also, it's not even just for us in our own community. We also really emphasize that in terms of the wider community we're in. And the Beanies and Burgers Day kind of reflects that. We do believe in connecting with human beings throughout in general. And also we have this outreach team that reflects that as well on a global level. And that is a very important point, because a lot of times people, when they come across our content, you will find the haters. You know, you'll find the mockers, you'll find those who are trying to deride what we do. And they will use a specific word that has popped up quite often, which is cult. And they'll say, oh, cult, and they don't really know what on earth they're talking about. But one of the key markers of a toxic kind of group that's not beneficial to society would be something which keeps itself away from the world and doesn't want to be known and wants to hide away and doesn't want to say what's happening and doesn't connect with people.
That's true. Yes.
We're the exact opposite of that. We are insisting on being out there and being part of the world.
Yes, and we're insisting on telling the people what we're all about. And Abu Sadiq has, how many episodes has he done where he just sits down and tells the people, okay, let me explain to you fully what we're about. And he has done it over and over and over and over again. Every time from a different angle, so you get the full picture of what's going on. And I think, as you said, like if we had something to hide, like something insidious going on in the background, why would we be so open with our mission and our objectives?
And say, let's go out there and talk. Call us, email us, let's talk to people. We love doing that. We want to do that. This is part of what we do here.
Yes.
And it's part of being in the kingdom of God. That's what Jesus Christ did. What did he do? He walked and walked and walked. There's a lot of walking in the Bible. Jesus was going somewhere. And he was surrounded by people, and the number of people kept growing and growing. So that's what we're doing here. The kingdom is in our midst, as Jesus Christ put it. And speaking of the kingdom, we've got this incredible segment coming up with our dear sister Khadija. Let's see what she says about God's kingdom and what we should see in terms of that.
Abba Abdullah Jafar, son of Muhammad, once said, "There is not a miracle from the miracles of the prophets and vicegerents except that God the Almighty makes a similar one appear at the hands of our riser in order to fully put the proof on our enemies." Pause for a moment and think, have you ever wondered what it must have felt like to walk beside Moses, Jesus, or the Prophet Muhammad? To see a sea split in two, to watch the blind gain sight, to witness the dead return to life, not from a book, not from a story, but with your own eyes. We assume these moments are part of a distant past, stories for the faithful, symbols for the spiritual. But what if the divine never left? What if the same miracles, the same hand of God was still moving amongst us? For those walking with Abu Sadiq, that's not a theory, that's not nostalgia, it is reality. We live in a world of 8 billion souls. Never has the earth been more connected. We fly across continents, speak across oceans, and access lifetimes of knowledge from a screen in our palm. But in this hyper-connected age, truth has become more distant than ever, because while science tells us how, it rarely tells us why. Why are we here? What is our purpose? Who truly governs this world? For those who don't believe in our Creator, life becomes a loop, an endless chase for meaning, a search filled with hollow answers and recycled theories. For believers, the answer begins with God's promise. Indeed, I'll make upon the earth a caliph. This wasn't just a verse in ancient scripture, it was a declaration that divine leadership would walk among humanity, that God's will would be carried out to earth through a man. And just as Adam was that first vicegerent, today the riser stands among us, Abu Sadiq, the living continuation of the divine promise. But look around at today's governments. Do you see divine justice anywhere? Leaders who tax the poor but fly in private jets, nations that hoard power while others starve. They claim legitimacy, some even in God's name, but their actions betray their claim. Would Jesus have charged for healing? Would Muhammad have ignored the orphan? Would Ali have ruled from a throne of gold while his people begged for bread? Divine governance cannot be founded on exploitation. It cannot thrive in oppression, and it cannot exist without the appointed representative of God. The kingdom of God is among you. Jesus wasn't speaking of palaces or armies. He was speaking of himself, a man through whom God's will was known. The kingdom is not about borders or flags. It's about who carries the authority of heaven. And today, the kingdom walks this earth once more through Abu Sadiq. Miracles are happening, not stories of the past, but events witnessed by his companions today. The dead returning to life, the moon vanishing from the sky, not as proofs for the curious, but as reminders for the sincere. The true recognition lies in the message, in the restoration of divine law, in the living example of God's mercy, justice, and truth. This is your chance, your moment in history. The revolution of the Mahdi is near. The same God who sent Adam, Noah, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad has not left us alone. He has sent his riser, and you are being called, not just to believe, but to rise, to recognize the kingdom that already exists in your midst, to support the vicegerent of God with whatever you have, to be part of the promise that has echoed since the first prostration to Adam. As Imam Hussein said before he stood at Karbala, "O God, you know my revolt against the rule of Bani Umayyah did not stem from any greed for power or for taking revenge. I stood against the tyrant of my time to reveal the genuine image of your divine religion and to make social reforms in order to save the oppressed and pave the way for them to act according to your rules." That same stand, that same mission, that same divine revolt echoes now through Abu Sadiq. The vicegerent has risen, and now it's our turn.
Yeah, we have a part to play in the story. People have a big part to play. There's something I've noticed quite often, and perhaps you've noticed it in the Spanish-speaking world as well, when it comes to speaking to certain believers. They will kind of, they believe and they'll pledge allegiance and they'll want to be a part of it, but they don't seem to recognize how much they have an impact themselves, and that there is a responsibility on their shoulders. There are certain people who are so humble that they misinterpret their position or their role in the story. And that can be a mistake, because sometimes we think that we're being humble and it's a good thing to kind of withdraw and say, oh, what would I do? What can I offer? But the thing is, you can offer a lot. You can offer a whole lot if you really think about it. And what is that whole lot? You can offer your dedication, your true commitment, and your loyalty to a cause and to a spiritual movement that will never be forgotten. This is something that generations after generations are going to remember. They're going to look back and say, who are those people that got together? You know, who were those ancestors of ours who got together and insisted on saying humanity first in a world where people just forgot that that could be a possibility? Yeah,
I mean, there's going to come a time where people are not even going to realize that it is possible to reach the levels of dehumanization that exists in this planet. Like it's going to be unbelievable, just as it's unbelievable for us, right? When we hear some news stories where we hear about some horrible crime that's going on in the planet, and you just like,
when you read
in
the history.
shock and disbelief, and then with hindsight, our descendants are going to just look at this age and they will just be so impressed, and it's just like as the reverse of that quote that is in the Goal of the Wise, that it says, "Oh Egypt, Egypt, your knowledge will remain but just in legends that the future generations are not going to be able to believe." I think it's going to be the reverse of that, right? The earth is going to be, it's so filled with things that future generations hopefully will never be able to believe that actually happened. And you are part of that first, spark of the mechanism that just make it run. And as Imam Ahmed al-Hassan says in the Goal of the Wise, for the believer it should be enough to know that he is helping pave the way for the rise and for the establishment of the divine just state.
Amazing.
Do whatever you can, even if you think that you have nothing to offer. Maybe through your poster there is going to come somebody who is going to be able to do a lot, and that in itself is a huge accomplishment on your behalf. Do not let any because there is a part of humility that is also a little bit like a trap, right?
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
Right?
That's it. You might think that it's from humility to think of yourself as weak or inferior or a shortcomer, but that can also have a toxic side where you start to actually implement things in your life due to that perspective.
Why even try mentality?
Yeah, like
right?
I'm not good enough, they're better. But then it's not about who's better or worse. It's about, are you being the best version of yourself?
Yeah.
Are you trying the most that you can try? Are you reaching the highest potential that you've possibly got? And the best part of that is there is no highest potential. It always goes higher and higher and higher.
Yes.
So know that, and know that we owe that to God. God deserves the best of us because He gives us the best of Himself.
Yes, and I'm remembering also like one of the these commercials, these advertisings that they used to make for the original channel, and there is one that Dr. Ali Goraifi just says, and he says, none of us knew, like none of us studied anything related to any of this, but we learned it because we wanted to give you the news of an imam that has appeared, and have that mentality instead. Have that mentality of, okay, I mean, I don't know, God just chose me, I don't know why. Let's just try my best to do the best I can with the life that I got. And if you have that mentality and you just keep trying and trying and trying, you don't understand how much you will develop just by this, because now you have a goal. Sometimes it is very difficult to improve yourself when you don't even know where you're going to, but now here you have a goal. Spreading the message that Abba Sadek is here and he is the savior of mankind. What can you do for that? There's a lot of things that you can do for that. Like you can even like physical things like pasting posters or learning skills. Like maybe you have a computer that even there's even not very powerful computers right now. You can learn skills that will translation, and they don't take like a
there's so
huge
much.
Computer. There's a lot of things that you
really far. There are certain tasks even we used to do here in the studio that would take us days, and now they take minutes, and it's such a blessing because time is running out. We have a lot of work to do.
Yes, there's a lot of free tools that you can find online, free resources. Like really, there is not a not a better moment for you to come and try to learn something to help the dawah. And if you do that, be sure that 1 year from now you will be in a whole different level. You just have to focus, and you just have to like give it your best, and you will see the results very soon.
That's so true, and I do pray and hope that the believers listening to this really look into themselves and ask, what more am I able to do for what I believe in? And we're seeing that And I have to say this. So when we began working in the studio and the outreach team began to kind of develop and grow, it started with 1 or 2 people, and now it's divided into so many different languages. And there are all these teams and people who are working day and night thinking of how to best reach the world, because that's what we're trying to do. When it began and the believers began to trickle in from outside, so of course we had our own community and we've had believers around the world, especially in the Middle East and different parts, but then it started to be Croatia and Andorra, and then it started to be Argentina and India and Sri Lanka, and it began to just spread like that. When this began to happen, there was a certain level that the believers were at. They were hopeful, they were believers, but they were also learning and trying to find their way and understand. Now, when we look back, you can see the vast difference between how they were back then and how they are now.
Yeah.
Right now, and this birthday of Abba Sadiq really proved that. You can see that the believers are like ready, they're organized, they're saying, let's go out there, we know what to do, we know how to feed the homeless, we know how to take care of these people, or we know where to go to spread the message, we know which place to meet at, we know how to meet, who to meet and gather together with. They know how to pool their resources and create a beautiful thing that they can offer to oppressed people or people in camps or people in tents. They know what to do. You guys are so amazing, and you need to continue that and make it bigger and better and stronger and brighter, inshallah.
Yeah, and you can, like you have proved it by not even like reaching out and asking, what can I do? No, you're like,
figuring it out on your own. That's what we wanted in this, and it's going to get even better.
Of course,
it's such a beautiful. You know, it's like the creation of a lifestyle that has happened.
Exactly,
it's a whole new lifestyle.
Exactly,
living for other people, and that's what I was like wanted.
Alhamdulillah.
So, Kevin, people are saying that the Mahdi is going to appear at the Kaaba, and then we're going to find out who he is. Did you know that?
I mean, I have heard about this a lot. Have you? I mean, this is one of the things that I was saying to Alia before. Maybe it is because the scholars know that this is not true, that they are holding on to these ideas so much. Because we know that, hey, scholars of Islam, we know that the narrations say in the books, Sunni and Shia, that the scholars of the end times are the worst creatures under the sky. And you don't talk about this at all in your speeches, not even once. So you're hiding the facts, and of course you're holding on to false ideas and making the people try to hold on to false ideas. It's coming to an end.
It has to. I mean, I think there's a lot of voices out there saying that this is not the case. You know, the scholars are wrong, and this is quite a weird kind of reality that you see. You find various random YouTube channels that are saying the Mahdi is going to appear at the Kaaba soon, and it's this idea that this Bollywood film scene is going to happen. I won't even say Hollywood because it's so dramatic that it has to be Bollywood. It's like this weird scene where the Mahdi will appear at the Kaaba and he'll just stand there and be like, I'm the Mahdi, and everyone will accept him and they'll come running to pledge allegiance to him. Is that really how it happens though? Let's go ahead and see what Ardijan says in the next segment and discuss it right after.
For centuries, we've been told a very specific story about the Mahdi, that he'll appear at the Kaaba with an army of angels and warriors, and that instantly the whole world will recognize him. It's a dramatic and almost cinematic vision, repeated so often in sermons, lectures, and even books. It's become the default image for millions of Muslims around the world. But what if it's wrong? What if that idea isn't supported by authentic narrations at all? Let's look at what some of the hadiths actually say. The Prophet said, "The Mahdi is from us, the people of the household. Allah will rectify him in a single night." So that doesn't sound like a man who's been leading a religious movement his whole life. It sounds like someone who's lived an ordinary life until one night everything changes. Think about Moses. He grew up in Pharaoh's palace, then lived years in exile, tending to sheep. No miracles, no prophethood, until one night, at a burning bush, God called him. Or Prophet Muhammad. He was a shepherd, a tradesman, an orphan, respected, yes, but not a preacher, not a prophet, until the cave of Hira. This pattern keeps repeating. Ordinary life, a divine appointment, a call to God and justice. The Mahdi follows this path. He doesn't just appear with an army, he starts with a call. So who is answering this call today? Abu Sadiq. He openly testifies that he lived a normal life until he was informed by Imam Ahmed al-Hassan of his true identity. Only after this divine appointment did he begin his mission. And what was her reaction? Exactly as you would expect. He was mocked, rejected, and labeled a heretic. Not by enemies of religion, but by the religious scholars themselves. Just as the hadith actually foretold. Many Muslims still believe that the Mahdi won't even know who he is until he appears at the Kaaba. But if he doesn't know who he is, how would you even recognize him? Wouldn't the community need a call, a leader, a movement to follow? The Quran warns us. How can you disbelieve while to you are recited the verses of Allah and among you is His messenger? The presence of a divinely appointed guide is a proof for his time. And today, Abu Sadiq is making that call publicly, clearly, and against overwhelming opposition. The idea spread by the non-working scholars that the Mahdi will simply appear with a group of supporters without prior public call stands in direct contradiction to the prophetic pattern. Figures such as Noah, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad all received direct revelations and guidance. And they began their mission by openly calling people to God and justice. And they also faced fierce opposition, often from the religious elite, long before that they were widely recognized or accepted. For example, Noah called his people for 950 years, enduring mockery and persecution. Yet he never ceased his invitation. Abraham stood alone against the entire society of his time, calling to monotheism, even as he was cast into the fire. Moses confronted Pharaoh, the most powerful tyrant, and called the children of Israel to freedom and faith. Jesus openly preached, gathered disciples, and faced relentless opposition. And Muhammad, he spent 23 years tirelessly calling people to God, enduring exile, boycott, and even war. So when scholars reject Abu Sadiq, that doesn't disprove him, it actually confirms him, because that rejection was prophesied. The Mahdi, as a divinely appointed reformer, calls humanity to the truth. This necessitates a da'wah, a call. A glance at his purpose makes this clear. The Mahdi's mission is extraordinary. He is prophesied to fill the world with justice and equity after it has been filled with injustice and oppression. How does someone bring global justice without calling to God first? How does he gather followers if no one hears about his message or call? He can't, and he doesn't. That's why Abu Sadiq's da'wah, his public call to God, is not just necessary, it's a proof. So if you're still waiting for a Mahdi to drop from the sky or appear out of nowhere with an army, ask yourself this: are you ignoring the real signs right in front of you?
I think that was very well said. I like how Ardijan put it in the end, because that's exactly it. It's not even just that we have to spread the word around the world. It's actually a proof of him being the Mahdi. It's actually validating his claim, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't... I think, unfortunately, the scholars rely a lot on the ignorance of the people, and they encourage people to remain ignorant and just to take their religion from them, not even from the books. And I remember, for example, being told as a child in the Catholic school, don't read the book of Apocalypse, for example.
Why?
Right? You're not going to understand it, and you
What is the censorship? Open, blatant censorship that's always being seen in masjids, in churches.
In of the Bible itself.
How is that possible?
Yeah. So it is more blatant in some places than in other places, but at the end of the day, it is a situation where they are relying on people being ignorant and forcing or encouraging them to become ignorant. And we are against that we are against people trying to spread a message, any kind of message, by trying to make you a worse human being, try to keep you not knowing what you should know. We believe in spreading knowledge about God. And I was thinking about, and one of the things that Alia was saying before was reminding me, there is a verse in the book of Proverbs in the Bible where it says that the wisdom speaks publicly in the public places and openly, and shouts about the things that they know. And I was and there is a footnote. Once I read a footnote in a version of the Bible that says that this is actually like a kind of a response to these movements of spreading knowledge, like in a very
Makes sense.
secret way.
Exactly.
Yeah, so basically that's the thing. We like, for example, one of the things that the believers can do is get to know the dawah very well, so you can explain it very well to the people that you know, so that anyone who is interested, and we know right now at this stage there's a lot of people who are still very
new to it?
Yes, and also very
rusty,
very attuned to the preaching of the scholars, and they still listen a lot to them, and they don't want to hear anything new. They are happy with what they have. Okay, but there's a lot of people also out there who have lost any hope in them, because they have seen how much evil they have brought to mankind. So it is these people, for example, at this stage, like, focus on the people that are open already to hear the call, and something that you can do is learn it very well, so you can explain it to them, and they will understand. And this is the stage where the dawah found me, for example.
Yeah.
I was already, like, I had given up on the scholars. I knew that this was not, the path that they were preaching is impossible to walk. And when I started reading, the wiki of Imam Ahmed al-Hassan back in the day, and just like all the facts, and the narrations after narration after narration.
Cool that wiki was.
You just come to realize, so this is why the world is so bad, and this is why the religion is so, like, in such a state. And there's people who are already open to this, and you will find them online, and you can write a blog, for example, explaining this stuff.
I think it's important also to explain why that's that is so effective, and why this is a key issue.
Yeah.
So when we say to the world, the scholars made this problem, they're the worst creatures under the sky, people might wonder what that means. And what we're talking about isn't just scholars in general. We're talking about specific groups of religious clerics who make verdicts and who decide for other people what's right and wrong, and who are essentially the modern-day Pharisees and the Sadducees of the time of Jesus Christ in this day and age. And they're found in every religion, and they're seen in positions of power, and they like those positions of power. And because they're in those positions, they're able to exploit people for their money and for other things as well. They're able to decide what is right and wrong according to what they think, and they interpret religion however they see fit for the society that they're in, while also discouraging people from reading for themselves. And that is a very terrible kind of, it's like a mastermind, evil villain archetype that is very sinister for the society, because any form of censorship is a red flag. If someone tells you, don't read the book of Apocalypse, or don't read whatever it is in the Muslim world, don't worry about Ghaibat al-Tusi, and don't worry about the Quran, just read the Arabic, don't even worry about what it means. That's really strange, and you need to flag that in your mind and tell yourself, why? Why are you not letting me know for myself? So we're saying, just cut the middleman out.
My
you
goodness.
don't need a middleman.
You just reminded me that when I converted to Islam and I started going to the masjids, the first masjid I went was Sunni masjid, and they were saying, like, don't worry about the history of Islam. It's just history.
Why is it just history?
And when you go and read the history of Islam, that's the most outrageous and evil story that you have ever read, and no wonder why they don't want you to read that.
Because how are they going to explain to
Yes.
you what all their heroes were doing, their so-called heroes who were actually the villains? It is a very... Life is very strange, isn't it? Like, the world is a weird place. But don't let people dictate for you what your reality is. This is our point. So when we say scholars, don't freak out and think that we mean anyone who studies the person.
No.
We're saying these religious clerics who are very sinister in their way of telling people what to do or not to do.
Yes.
And they have way too much power. I mean, they can decide the most horrendous verdicts. The recent episode of Abu Sadiq, when it was released, we spoke about it here on Rise Up. It was myself and Ardijan, and we went over the fatwa or the verdict, for example, of Khomeini. And Khomeini is a great example of one of these archetypal non-working scholars, as we call them, who gain a lot of power and a lot of authority. They say they have a lot of knowledge and that you don't have to worry about it anymore. They'll tell you what to think.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what the world looks like. Don't even think for yourselves anymore. And this individual had this absolutely vile verdict regarding children. And because this is a morning show, I'm not going to go into it in detail, but you can see for yourself on that lecture on the Mahdi Has Appeared YouTube channel. It's the most recent lecture that was released. And my goodness, how can a man like that get away with it in public? And he did. Why? Because he's a religious scholar. That is unacceptable, and we cannot stand for it. So we must speak out against it.
Yeah. And you see also that, for example, one of the trends that I have noticed a lot in the Spanish-speaking TikTok sphere is that there's a lot of people criticizing Islam in TikTok Live and making TikTok videos criticizing Islam. It's always the scholars. It's always about the scholars.
It is, yeah.
It's always like oh, look at this verse and look at what the most revered scholars say about this, and it's always the interpretations of the scholars who are giving a super bad image to Islam and just promoting the most outrageous things in the face of the planet, and yes, they are even though they get criticized, they still get away with it.
Yeah.
So
because there is a following.
Yes.
There are people who believe that to please God they must align themselves with these people, but it's not the case.
Yeah.
And this is the point of religion. It's to know who to look at. It's not random people that look the part or sound the part. It's people that have been appointed divinely in a will, in a statement by another vicegerent. It's a person that has the spirit in them. So why are we looking for people that we say or we want to believe have some form of the spirit? You know, why is it that we go to church, for example, and we try and imagine that the pastor or the priest who's speaking is inspired by the spirit, when we could just find a man that actually does have the spirit in him? Why is it that the Muslim world, they look at a sheikh or an alim or an ayatollah or whatever it might be and say to themselves, this person is inspired by God, so I'm going to do everything that they say and I'm going to believe in him with all my heart, when all we have to do is really ask God, where's the imam of my time? Where's the actual guy that you appointed? That one caliph on the earth that is supposed to be the qibla, the person I point myself towards when I want to understand where you are, God, and who you are. That's the question people should be asking. And this segment with Brother Ardijan, where he's talking about the whole concept of the Mahdi will appear at the Kaaba and all of these things, it's a really good reminder of the fact that people can fall into these traps. Let's not do that.
Yes.
You know, let's try harder and do better.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting preached something that doesn't even make sense, and I mean, I remember since I was a child, when somebody when they were preaching to me things that didn't make sense, I realized that they didn't make sense, you know.
Yep.
So you have an internal compass that tells you when there is something that is that doesn't sound true or doesn't sound logical.
That's so true.
Right?
That is so true.
So don't be afraid to make these questions. Imam Ahmed al-Hasan said, don't let anyone decide your hereafter for you. Take your hereafter on your own hands.
So revolutionary, these words.
Yes.
So powerful. We have a very fascinating segment coming up next with our dear brother James, and it's to do with the soul, isn't it, Kevin?
Yes.
Let's see what James has to say about the soul, and we'll be right back.
Mankind, in their endless search for the meaning of life, often fails to grasp the essence of the divine scriptures or connect the stories of past messengers to our modern, chaotic world. Like a rudderless ship, people wander distracted by sensory illusions and fleeting material gains. Many seek their roots through ancestry, religion or politics, only to end up even more confused, layering identities that pull them further from their true origin. Science too, in its pursuit of ultimate truth, has tried to uncover the essence of life through particle accelerators and quantum theories. The Large Hadron Collider at CERN cost up to $75 billion and still hasn't uncovered the God particle. Instead, it discovers smaller vibrating particles like the quark, mirroring the arrogant pursuit of Nimrod, whose tower to heaven fell by the smallest of creatures, a gnat. So where does truth really reside? As Abba al-Sadiq has revealed, enlightened beings like Hermes, Pythagoras, Krishna, Buddha, Plato and Socrates were actually unknown prophets. Their insights help complete the puzzle of the soul, showing that divine wisdom transcends religious boundaries. The teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, or Thoth, the builder of the pyramids and author of Corpus Hermeticum, reveal a profound view of the soul. The soul, being God-sent, is immortal and strong. All that is material is mortal and weak. But man is not just material, he is also soul, and it is not the body which is strong, but the soul. Like Jesus echoed in his scriptures, the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. Hermes teaches that the soul descends into the world for experience, and its return is marked by purification and the choice between good and evil. Speak not of man as perishing, my son. Think what God is and what the cosmos is. Man is made by the cosmos, and it is God that is the author of all and encompasses all and knits all things together. He who knows himself knows the all. Whilst in his emerald tablets, Thoth reveals our celestial origin and the path of ascension. Man is a star bound to a body, until in the end he is freed through his strife. The soul is all. Let not your body be a fetter. Cast off the darkness and travel in light. These teachings confirm the soul as a divine spark, the true guide. When overwhelmed by lust and egoistic desires, we drift far from it. The soul, when in the body, is burdened by many evils. Yet when she departs from the body, then she is freed from all these evils. The path of truth lies in gnosis, or divine knowledge and practice gained through meditation and virtuous conduct. Buddhism echoes this truth. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within by controlling our nature, external and internal. The soul cycles through vessels, but the essence remains unchanged. Without spiritual awakening, even ritual becomes hollow. I know that these living beings have never cultivated good roots. They are firmly attached to the 5 desires. They fall into 3 evil paths. They turn on the wheel in the 6 destinies, suffering utter misery. Verily, the first to return to this world is Al-Hussein, the son of Ali and his companions, and Yazid, son of Muawiyah. Then Jafar Sadiq recited, "Then we give back to you return victory over them." Today we live in that prophesied return, a time of war, moral collapse and spiritual darkness, yet also a time when 10,000 313 purified souls from all ages gather around the riser of truth, Abba al-Sadiq, the Metatron, Mahdi and Thoth of our time. Verily God chose between the souls in the shadows and then made them enter into the bodies. And if our riser emerges, he shall make the brother inherit from the brother whom God paired him with in the shadows. These souls are gathering like star clusters around Mars, the planet, the celestial imam, forming a cosmic symmetry between the atom world and ours. As the Kali Yuga ends, the Satu Yuga, or golden age of truth, begins. The goal now is to reclaim the Eden-like state, the original purity of Adam and Eve, by submitting to our soul force and rejecting ego. The emergence of the Mahdi is not passive. It is a revolutionary call for us to unite, purify, and transform. Know ye, O man, ye are only a spirit. The body is nothing, the soul is all. So we should rise up, polish the divine spark within, and become light workers in the army of truth. You are stardust. Let your light shine for the sake of God and his chosen riser, Abba al-Sadiq, the father of truth.
Thank you so much to our brother James for that contribution on the soul. And my goodness, there's a lot to say about the soul. There's so much you can research regarding that topic.
I was because at seeing James gather all this information from different sources, he's gathering from Thoth, he's gathering from Buddhist sources, he's gathering from Hindu Islamic sources. Gnostic sources. So basically, this reflects also what Abba Sadiq said right in the last episode, that one of the things we need to do to evolve as a human species is to gather all the knowledge of the prophets and the messengers and collect it together and understand it so we can go to the next level.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I really appreciate when there's like this
unifying segments.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
When you get to sit down and actually see different scriptures aligning and paralleling, and you see, okay.
Yes.
So there's a pattern there. We have some comments, Kevin.
Okay.
Yes, we have comments on the. We are going to comment on the comments section. I like that a lot.
All right.
I like doing that. Let's see what people are saying. Do that. All right. This is someone called Paul Hoyle. I think that's their name.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to just read this out. It says, "If you were the guided one, you would have your follows, I think he means followers, protect Israel, knowing that when the Jews are in that land, it flourishes. If they had the greater Israel, it would change weather patterns and all the Muslim countries would prosper. You would protect them and say you want all the Jews there. But not everyone has an angel pour oil on their head." Very pointed kind of belief there. He seems to think that this is what we should be doing, but it's not. This is not the main. I mean, there's a lot more out there to talk about and discover and do.
I mean, first of all, I don't know where are you getting this information from.
Maybe he doesn't understand what it is we're about.
No, maybe he hasn't read the Bible because look, if you go and read the Old Testament of the Bible, it is pretty clear there that actually it is not the case that every time the Jews are in that land they flourish. Actually, if you go and read the book of Isaiah, and you go and read the book of Jeremiah, or you go and read the book of Amos, or you go and read pretty much every single book in the Old Testament is just a series of prophets telling the Jews how inadequate they have been behaving and how they are not representing the morals and manners and the standard of living that God would require from his chosen people. And there is a lot of instances where they reprimand them for having poor people in the land and for not giving the rights to women and not giving the rights to.
There were mistakes.
Yes,
there were some mistakes.
Yes, so there is the book of Jeremiah starts by saying, you say peace, peace, shalom, shalom, and there is no peace in the land.
Just like that.
So I don't understand where are you getting this information that every time the Jews are there, the land flourishes. Clearly the Bible, certainly it disagrees with you. I don't believe that even the Jews themselves would see themselves as that. I don't think I'm disrespecting their beliefs because I don't see when they talk, I don't see them
where
believing.
Is it coming from, basically?
Yes.
That notion that this is the solution. We haven't heard it in scripture, we haven't seen someone saying that. And this is not our aim. Our mission has to do with humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
And our mission has to do with every nation, and it has to do with making sure that we place humanity before religion, before politics, before any kind of man-made structure. We want to make sure that we treat people people as true human beings, because that's the religion of God. So making that the aim and the goal, that hey, we should make sure that some people are somewhere. I mean, this is not. I think you're knocking on the wrong door here. We care about all people, all human beings.
Yes.
And the goal is spreading humanity first.
We have nothing against the Jews at all.
We have nothing against any people.
We have nothing against the Muslims at all. And you know, like. Discarding the fact that like you're claiming like it's kind of like a prophecy that you're giving, that whether patterns would change.
Yeah, that part was interesting.
I mean, it's weird. It's weird. Like where is this coming from?
Confusing.
But putting all that aside, if you hear what Abba Sadek is saying also in the speech about, you know, Palestine and Israel.
The Middle East conflict.
Yes, exactly. He wants to give a land to these Palestinian people as well. So and he says you can keep the land if you want it. So
we care about people, not
soil. We care exactly. We don't care. Like for us, there is no land that is holier than the lives of the children that are suffering. And this goes for both sides. This goes for every single person on the planet Earth. We don't believe that. I mean, I don't think even the Jews themselves see themselves as this supernatural force of nature that will
end all earthquakes.
Exactly. I don't see that in Jewish thought. But anyways, look. We believe in humanity, as Alia said, and we believe that all the people have a right to exist, and we believe that the Jews, they have a right to practice Judaism as the Torah commands them to, and we believe that the Christians have a right to practice Christianity as the Gospels commands them to, and we believe that the Muslims the same thing with the Quran, and we want to provide everyone that space, the space for them to be able to practice their religion in the way that the scriptures tell them. So this is what we're calling for. We don't believe that the Jews practicing the Torah in Palestine or practicing the Torah in Brooklyn, New York makes a difference, as long as they are able to practice the Torah as the Torah commands them to.
It's their theological right to do what they want to do. It's their religious right to do as they think is best. But this isn't the point of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light. The point of our covenant is to establish the kingdom of heaven. And to, as you said, Kevin, enable people to have their rights given to them and their freedoms, whoever they might be. You know, we believe that, for example, I mean, we really believe this on a very holistic level. It's to the extent that we believe that members of the LGBTQ community have rights, and that's very controversial for many mainstream religions, but we don't think it's controversial to God at all. We believe that He is a very merciful Father who doesn't believe in His children fighting one another and hurting one another because they have different ideas or they're born differently or anything of that sort. And the most basic principle that we need to begin with and start talking about before all of that is humanity first. Because at the very least, as Abu Saik said, if we can at least agree on that, the world would transform dramatically. Things would be very different. Tomorrow would look very different if everyone in the world woke up and said to themselves, you know what? Humanity first. So my religious ideals, my prejudices, my biases towards people, all of the stigma that's on human beings, I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to put humanity first. If everyone did that, my goodness, what would the world look like? Very different to what it looks like today.
You have the right to believe that the Jews are super amazing. That's perfectly fine with us. The only thing that you don't have the right to is to dictate what the messenger of God should do. Because if you knew better about what the messenger of God should do, then you would be the messenger of God. And the fact that God didn't choose you as the messenger just proves that there's somebody who knows more than you about what he should be doing.
There you go. I think that's a good, apt response. Let's go on to the next comment. You guys should just announce it's the Beanie Man cult. In this cult, the men cover their heads and not the women. No salah, no fast, and no hajj. What is the point of all this? Exclamation mark, question mark. What is the point of all this? So the men cover their heads. I wouldn't put it that they're covering their heads. You're wearing a beanie. But The women do too. A lot of sisters are wearing beanies, by the way. It's not a problem. You can wear or not wear the beanie. It's not like a...
I'm sorry, but when I go to the masjid, when I went to the masjid, both Sunni and Shia, they were using this white cap.
The men, right?
Yes.
And that was okay?
So should we call Islam the white cap cult? I feel that's rude. I don't want to do that, to be honest with you. If you want to call us the Beanie Man
Guys,
cult,
you're hurting Kevin's feelings. It's not nice.
if you want to call us the Beanie Man cult, that's okay. It's up to you what you do with your morals and your manners.
Would you ever have thought that a beanie would be that controversial and stigmatizing? And it's a black beanie, guys, and it's something you can wear as a choice of clothing, as a wardrobe option if you'd like it, if you think it's a good idea to wear it. Abu Sadiq has already explained why he decides to wear it, and that's totally within his right to wear it, and those who love him emulate him and decide to wear it as well. We think that it's a beautiful thing to wear. Some of us wear it all the time, some of us wear it sometimes. The reason the women are not covering their hair also has been extensively discussed. We don't see it to be part of any religious scripture that dictates that women have to hide their hair. This is again a corruption that entered into religion later.
And by the way, when he says no hijab, no fasting, no hajj, what is the point of all of this? Are you saying that the point of your religion is that the women are covered?
Yeah, they are saying that, Kevin.
And that you fast
That's exactly
for 1 month, and that you go travel to a touristic place once in your lifetime. That's the point of your religion.
But that's exactly what they're saying, you see.
We don't believe that that's the point of religion. We don't believe that God needs any of these things. God is far above the need of all these. We don't believe that there is anything inherently beneficial in doing that if it's not accompanied by the right understanding of why you're doing it and what is the meaning behind it. And if you think that this is like, you can keep your religion, thank you very much. We don't want it because our religion teaches us how to change the world for the better.
Absolutely.
And not just to perform rituals that we don't even understand.
And you know, Kevin, because religion has become that way for so many people in the world, it has become rituals. It has this image now where prayer, hijab, fasting, hajj, this is Islam. First off, that's extremely unfortunate because Islam is much deeper than that. Secondly, who said we don't have prayer, fasting and hajj? Who said that? We do. We absolutely have those. Yes. We never said we don't. We do pray. We pray all the time, actually. Our prayer is to God and we speak to Him all the time. And for us, that is the prayer of the prophets and messengers. Go ahead and check the scriptures out and see for yourselves how it is that prophets and messengers used to pray. That is how we pray as well. As for the 5-day ritual prayer that you are referring to, yes, it was a part of the 6th covenant. No one said it was always going to be part of God's religion. If you want to pray like that, again, you can. There's nothing wrong with it, but you can't dictate for other people how it is that they should pray. So that's in terms of prayer. Fasting, of course we fast. Who says we don't fast and who says we don't believe in fasting? Perhaps you haven't read our gospel. In the Goal of the Wise, it's quite clear that we believe in prayer and we believe in fasting. Hajj for us is also actually part of the religion.
We are in Hajj right now.
We don't go to Saudi Arabia around a Kaaba that is actually inaccurate. You know, it's historically inaccurate that it should be the Kaaba. We don't go there and pay thousands of dollars to the Saudi royal family so that we can circumambulate a fake Kaaba. That's just not the way we do our Hajj. Our Hajj is a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, and we are in the Hajj and we are in the state of Ihram all our lives.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean...
what is the point of all this? Let's answer that one. What are we doing here?
What are we doing? We're changing the world. We're making the world a better place. We are putting in practice the teachings and the preachings of all the prophets and the messengers, where they told us that God demands justice and He wants to establish something in the place, in the land where people don't get to suffer unnecessarily, and where human beings love each other as brothers and sisters. And this is what we're doing. We're forging a community and we're forging a nation that will be the example, the shiniest and brightest example of what a believer truly has to be. We're setting the example for the whole world of how you should be behaving if you claim to believe in God, and we're doing way more than that. And yeah, I mean, okay, if you want to call us the Beanie cult, I mean, even if we think your religion is shallow and there's nothing inside, we're not going to be rude and disrespectful. to you, we're inviting you to the truth. We're inviting you to realize that religion is way more than a ritual and a dress code and a hat, a type of hat. A religion is way more than that.
And we can give you a beanie if you really like them. Because
yes.
I think, you know what I think, Kevin, deep down? I think all these people who use the word beanie derogatorily in terms of ourselves, I think they like the beanie. I mean, they want a beanie.
What is in the beanie that you shouldn't like, that you wouldn't like? Yeah.
And I think they look at our beanies and they say, hey, you know, that looks cool. I want to have one, and I don't have one, and they just feel bad about it. So if you feel like you want a beanie really bad, write in and we're going to figure it out for you.
Yeah.
Email us at outreach@theahmadireligion.com and we will make sure you get a beanie if you really, really want one. Thank you so much, though, for watching us today. We enjoyed discussing these topics and having you as our audience, and we're hoping that you will tune in again tomorrow morning for another episode of Rise Up. Should we wrap up here, Kevin?
Okay.
Let's do it, huh?
Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.